All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to yet another very special edition of Red Pill News. As always, my name is Zak Paine, the corruption detector, and joining me once again, my very good friend, Patty Greer, from the makers of C60. Patty, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. It's good to see you every month. We are so loyal.
Yes, no, it's wonderful to have you here. I love being able to have these conversations with you. And gosh, a lot has happened since the last time you were on the show. I'm sure personally for you as well, but I mean, just on a macro scale, I mean, things really feel like they're accelerating. And we were kind of talking before the show just about like living in the moment, the importance of like now, this moment right here. And I think that you're absolutely spot on, because if you don't stop and appreciate what's directly in front of you, the speed with which everything is happening, it's just like flying by you, and you can get lost in it really easily.
You don't want to miss the lessons.
No.
I mean, even if it hurts anymore, I'm just saying, okay, what can I get out of this? Because clearly it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So we are in a spiritual war like never before in history. I believe we are the closest to communism this world has ever been. And when none of my neighbors have a clue, when a lot of them are still like posters in their front lawn of no kings, and
Mm-hmm.
they got little signs from Uncle George Soros. I used to be willing to have conversations. Now I just say nothing. I try and, usually have a flag on me somewhere,
There you
and,
go.
no, I'm not military. I just happen to love my country and my freedom.
Here, here. You know, this is one of those things that I think a lot of people have struggled with over the last several years, because I think everybody who is of a certain age, you remember a time in America when you could disagree with somebody and you could still have those conversations where your entire life, your identity was not wrapped up in your ideology or your hatred of a person or a group. We were United States citizens. We lived here. We had to coexist. And everybody kind of understood that if you didn't get with the program in that effect, then your life was going to be difficult. I mean, whether it was just the day-to-day of going through it, or whether it's the psychological or emotional damage of not being able to stand looking at people. I saw this clip before I came on with you here today, and it was of a young woman. She couldn't have been more than 23 years old. And she posted the TikTok video, and she says, I found some really disturbing information today. I learned that one of my coworkers is conservative. And the horrible thing is, like, we were really good friends. I used to love him. We used to get along great. And now, suddenly, I have all of this hatred towards him. And I can't get over how much I just viscerally hate him. It was like a switch was flipped. And what's difficult is for people like us, we still want to have those conversations. We still want to be able to talk to people and have neighbors and, be cordial. And, if we don't agree with each other, then so what? It's not the end of the world. But for some people, it is the end of the world, and they see us as an existential threat. And I would, totally get on board with believing that there are certain segments of the population that I think we probably both see as existential threats, because ultimately for them to win, they need us to die. They need us to go away. They want to take over everything, and they want to rule, and they would like nothing more than re-education camps and that communist revolution. But that group is not as large as I feel we are. Even though we are closer to the realization of a communist world based upon, just the audacity that these people have and the way that they're talking about it and how straightforward they are about it, I also feel that we are closer than ever to overcoming that and getting past it. But the part that's really going to be difficult is bringing all of those people back around who at this point see us as like the most evil thing in the room. Like, I can see myself coexisting with people that I don't agree with. I'm perfectly okay with that. Even if people are watching the show and they don't agree with everything I say, that's totally cool. This is America. That's what we're supposed to do. But for these people, I'm not so certain that they're going to be able to live in that world. Like, their minds are so twisted, their hearts are so black, and they are so deep in their delusions. I don't know, Patty. It's kind of troubling.
It's very troubling. And For that reason, we got to get real. And the power of now is independent journey, like realizing that everything I say might come back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like karmically, it probably will. So I have to be really careful about the things I say, especially before I go on the air and realize that I'm talking to people in Denmark and Australia and all over the world. And we want to speak a language that everyone understands and perhaps might benefit from. So I really try and stick with Patty Positive. And yesterday I did the most troubling show with Penny Kelly, who's written way too many books on consciousness. And I'm listening to her explain things that I had no idea were going on in China
Mm-hmm.
and in Africa. Like, what do you mean they're really modern with beautiful cities? I thought it was all communist because all the news I've watched, and I was like, wait a minute, not me. No, 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 no. No, I can't believe that I have fallen this heavily for propaganda news that I didn't realize that China is way ahead of us with technology and way ahead of us with a lot of things. And it's all big lies in our media. Now, this is not news to anybody, but it was news to me yesterday that um, China was that far ahead technologically. And also, she said in Africa, they've got beautiful cities, and they're very modern. I'm like, what? All I see on the news is huts and
Mm-hmm.
starving people. So, the power of now. How can we really get a grip and have deeper intuition and have more consciousness where we don't fall for the crap? Because I don't want to fall for the crap. I want to be really positive. I want to be really encouraging, but I also want to be real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to believe that we are, everything's an illusion. No. I'm not going to believe that we're two timelines living next to Democrats that are angry and want to kill people. Those aren't two timelines. That's just a different frequency of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening is our consciousness, our frequency is getting lower and lower with some people and higher with many others that are realizing, oh my God, my freedoms are being threatened. I want to do something different. And that's the power of now. That's the power of taking your energy back and saying, I'm choosing my own reality. And I feel like I cheat every day. I wake up, I put this miracle molecule in my coffee and I go all day with my brain on fire and I'm like, damn, I'm cheating. And it's not cheating. It's actually finding a remedy that works. And I have found C60 EVO. And all it is organic oil and a molecule that our lab makes. And the only reason I'm a co-owner with the lab is because their products saved my life twice. I used to be in the sick field of UFOs. There was fabulous people when I was in early in 2006 to 2016, 17. There were fabulous people. And all of a sudden, boom, infiltration. All the greats died. I got hit with a dirty weapon at the airport leaving a gig, and I said, oh God, I'm out of here. I will never go back to these events where there's really dangerous, mean people. But that was the beginning of me realizing the takedown of America, the takedown of all of our sciences and our understandings of what reality should be. And if it wasn't for C60 Evo brain, I'd be messed up. And when I see a lot of my friends, they're not messed up because they all take Evo.
Mm-hmm.
But I see my neighbors and I'm thinking, man, that's got to be hard. So that's why I come on your show every month. You do Evo, you put out so many shows, it's crazy. And we do it with solidity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how I stay this balanced other than C60 Evo. And again, I do cheat. I have the giant bottle the size of my head. But I think we should take a shot
Let's do it.
because I'd love to have more energy today. How about you,
Yeah, I'm ready for round two. I've got
Captain Zak?
another series of shows after this. Oh, hold on.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, I somehow hit mute in Zoom. So, yeah, I'm definitely ready for round two. I got a series of shows after this. So, here we go.
Cheers. Well, I admitted to you that I had a surgery on Monday,
Hmm.
and the only thing I canceled was my show on Tuesday. And Monday night, I was like, oh, now I got to be kidding. I'm not going to impress myself. I'm going to kill myself day after. So I did cancel, but I've done a show every day this week. And I feel really good. Today, I woke up just hurting because my brain stays on fire with this product and I do it every day.
Hmm.
So I'm always like tick, 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 and I run my company. So I'm tick, 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 tick. But after surgery, your body kind of feels the meds and has to detox the trauma that was done with cutting of skin
Oh yeah.
and whatever. So today I'm feeling it. And I'm first time ever I'm going TGIF.
Are you going to be able to take some time this weekend and just relax?
As soon as our show's over, I'm going to climb in some hot water and stay there.
There you go. Yeah. Maybe Epsom
Yeah.
salt bath or something.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
And again, it's such a beautiful thing to have control of our lives, which we still do today. We have our freedom, and we better get a grip. You have so many shows, so many people in your audience all over the world, and it's not just an America problem. This
Mm.
is everywhere
Oh yes.
problem.
Yeah.
And the 12 years we've lived through with the 8 years of Obama
Hmm.
and the last 4 years of Joe Obama
Hmm.
really crippled this country and really did a lot of harm to almost everything. And poor Trump, man, he came into a sewer
Hmm.
and he's had to clean up more than he could have ever imagined. And here we are, for years knowing about probably the bottom of the barrel of anything we could discuss is the adrenochrome issue.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst. Or people that touch small children, that's the worst.
Yeah.
But the fact of how much of that has gone on, nobody ever knew in the public. And that's what's going to be so painful is when everybody learns what we've known for years. And we've carried it as the torchbearers, whistleblowers of this really heavy, gripping, horrible data about people that were acting as if they're leading our country,
Hmm.
but they weren't saying leading it in what direction.
Right.
So we have to, each of us, raise our consciousness. And the reason that I talk about that and C60 EVO is that what it literally does is it clears the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. We have 50 to 5,000 mitochondria in every cell of the body except blood has none. But the brain has 2 million
Hmm.
mitochondria per cell. So the pineal gland back there, which is our connection to God and spirit and our higher self, is also going to be in the upper million, you know, the amount of cleaning that gets done in the brain and the pineal gland is a lot more because there's a lot more mitochondria. So, this molecule that won the Nobel Prize in 1996 for its excellence in every application tested, they never knew it was for people and pets. They never knew that they'd be making it, my partners, for themselves and their family. And it wasn't until 2012 when they used our product and they tested it at the Paris University called the 2012 Paris Bhakti study, BAATI, on the prolongation of rats, lab rats. And they tested them for toxicity with our product. Some rats got just olive oil and some got just water. And of course, that was the base group that left early. But the C60 EVO group lived 90% longer than the test rats, and they died without any tumors for the first time in history.
Hmm.
So impressive, impressive, mind-boggling results. Literally the longest longevity results in history on lab animals. And it was our product, came from our lab in 2012. So my partners were thinking, well, they still didn't want to do supplements. And then when I came along and gave them a call on the phone in 2019, they said, let's be partners. How soon can we fly you here? And I had an NDA within an hour. So the reason that I do this now and take my time and go on great shows like yours is because I know the product works. My mom's 96. She's outlived all of her friends. She still reads big fat novels. She still tells me about when I was 10 and had chicken pox and we had to close the curtains, like amazes me, things I didn't remember. And she takes C60 EVO. Her assistant that comes a few days a week and helps her, I gave her some EVO also. And she calls me a week later and she said, first time in years I don't have a migraine. I said, you had migraine? She said, so bad I had to have shots.
Oh man.
And now it's 6, 10 months later. I don't know. It's been a while. She said she hasn't had one migraine.
Pretty
So we
amazing.
did a sleep study, and now we're going to do a migraine study because wouldn't that be great? And of course, I'm not making any medical claims. Let's just say it's been a coincidence that a lot of people have said the same thing.
Well, I can say that from my own personal experience as well. I mean, I used to get migraines a couple of times a month. And then once we started working together and I started taking this on a daily basis, I don't get migraines anymore. And, I also sleep better at night. And it's a lot easier for me to just get up and continue to move and go through all of these shows. It's funny, some people in the audience call me encyclopedia because of my ability to recall useless facts, but sometimes they're fairly helpful. So,
That's
I like to think that that's the reason why as well. And I mean, I never had to take shots. I resisted taking that type of a treatment. But I did have like a pill that they would give me. And if it got bad enough, then I would take one of those and I would just lay down and hopefully I would fall asleep within an hour. And then I'd wake up a couple hours later and things would be good. But, I mean, if you've got to be on the air, if it's 2 p.m. and I start getting a migraine and I've got to be on the air at 5, there's a lot of work that I have to do between 2 and 5 to make it possible for me to do that. And it would just completely throw my schedule off. So very grateful to not have to deal with that anymore.
Well, it's not a coincidence, but we have to pretend it is
Yeah.
because, we do. Which reminds me, all my friends are getting their YouTube channels back, and all their tens of thousands of subscribers came back. I'm still looking forward to getting my X back. Somebody hacked us,
Mm.
hacked my Truth Social. I got that back because they have humans there, but X, they hacked our website, and this is the first time I've admitted it on the
Oh,
air.
man.
In the last few months, we've had a little demon scum just going after, trying to get us to slow down because we're constantly presenting to the world and doing it with integrity. And that really bothers low life scum.
Yeah.
But I prefer to focus on not scum. I mean, let's go, talk about what we're doing here. We're making America healthy again.
Amen.
And I've sent a few packages to Bobby Kennedy Jr. We had to have them blessed at a church, so we did. And he received them. But I was sending him products when he was running for president. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't that seem like
Absolutely.
a long time ago?
It sure does. Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy. So, on that YouTube subject, I am not getting my YouTube channel back, unfortunately. A lot of people that I know and that were banned on the same day as they've gotten their channels back. And I got word through my appeal that I would not be getting that channel back. And then they said that I would not be eligible for any other channels. But then at the same time, they actually gave me back a backup channel that I had, which was, a channel that I never used. But I mean, it had like 15,000 people who had subscribed to it just in case I got deleted from my first channel. But then that channel was banned because my first channel got banned. So I am on YouTube with a very small presence, but I've already had some content removed and they've already given me warnings. So I'm not exactly using it. I don't really know if I'm going to continue doing anything with it, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe in the future they'll give me my real channel back and I'll be able to get back on there, but I don't have a ton of hope about it.
Well, I think that we're going to look back on this chapter of history with great disdain,
Mhm.
but also great patting ourselves on the back that we made it because my goodness, probably you and I and most of your audience did get the needle in the arm.
Mhm.
And, we might have had the flu or a cold, which they called everything. You got hit by a train, it was that flu
Mm.
thing.
Yep.
If you got shot by a gun, it was that flu thing. Get those numbers up. And just to be a survivor of all that, we should all be proud. Another thing is we sit here all day, most of us, with 6 different channels up on our menu bar.
Mm.
And, we're going back and forth, to work and to do all these things. And we don't even realize how much we use our brain every day that we can, like you said, a Zachlopedia, encyclopedia.
Yep.
I love that. I learned another great word today for those that are committing terrible crimes need to take a dirt nap.
There you go. Yeah. That's why wood
Um,
chippers were invented.
but we don't want to wish that on anyone because karma, how it is. And I certainly am looking forward to karma coming around soon. On the other hand, we got to keep ourselves in our highest frequency. And I'm going to encourage your audience and everybody out there to wake up and get on Evo. It is so easy. It's a spoon and a bottle, and you put it in your mouth, and you're done for the day. This goes in my coffee, the MCT, but twice as strong is the olive oil, and it is best on a spoon so you don't lose any. We also have the avocado oil that matches my shirt nicely, and it is super nutty and delicious, almost as strong as the olive. But for all the peer-reviewed tests, all the research on carbon-60 fullerenes, we are the only lab that delivers the products. And the interesting thing that most people don't realize when they go, oh, C60, I've heard of it. There's C60, which is industrial grade, and it's probably from China, if it's most stores. And then there's ESS60, which is made differently for people and pets by us. Our lab is the only one that's been at it for 34 years. And my partners, like I said, had no idea they'd be selling supplements. And now they're both 56. They look incredible. And they kind of made jokes when I was saying, let's do a face serum. And they were like, yeah, we're a bunch of guys in a lab, quit it. And next thing I knew, we had a fabulous face serum. And then they designed the box. I'm like, wait, what? I got to create the words, but this beautiful presentation, revive, replenish, rejuvenate. It smells so good. Do you use this?
Lisa uses that. I use the blue one. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I just ran out, so I had to
Okay.
open a new box. The blue one is a two-part face serum. Everything comes gift wrapped. No matter what you get, it comes gift wrapped, which is really nice. In a beautiful color of tissue. I've been waiting to open this, so this is my opening moment. But the two-part facial serum my partners came up with because the first face serum made such a difference. Testimonials were incredible. And they said, okay, let's try it with peptides. And they found this peptide with 30 years of research behind it. Fabulous for hair, fabulous for skin. So we've got two different face serums. Um, and by the time I won that war, it was like, really, okay, next, lip balm.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even fight me because the ESS60 works on every part of the body, but we really underestimate what it does for the mind unless we take it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Lisa's a huge fan of the lip balm. I personally, my lips are like perfectly the way they are naturally. So I don't use lip balm, but I used to when I lived in Michigan because it was obviously a lot colder and windier. And when we moved down here to Florida, like I guess the damp air agrees with me. It gives me like everything that I need. But yeah, I'm a big fan of peptides as it is already. So like when I learned first off that you guys had the peptide product, I was like, this is obviously something for me. Lisa loves the rosemary oil facial serum, and every night when she comes to bed, she presents her face to me for me to smell.
Wow. I thought my best friend was the
Yeah.
only one that used it as an aphrodisiac. She said, baby, smell my face.
Yeah, it smells great.
This is the one we're talking about. It's
Yeah.
the Advanced Facial Serum. I love this one. It's all natural, organic products. There's 21 products, including the ESS60, in a couple of oils. But when I was designing this formula, I did it with a lady who had baby skin. She's also in her 70s, like I am. And I rode a Harley for 50,000 miles, so my skin was kind of rough. And as soon as I started taking the edible oil, my skin started smoothing. And every time I'd use it out of the bottle, I'd run my fingers around the lip and I'd put it on my face, and I'd take my spoon and I'd get the oil off my spoon and rub it on my face. And all of a sudden I said, this stuff's good. And I was just using the edible oil. So that's when I approached the partners. And now they're totally convinced because we're just learning regularly all the benefits that it just about does everything. But now we're learning sleep. Now we're learning migraines. I learned, and again, from having surgery on Monday, it stung because I had stitches, 14, but it stung only for a day and a half, and then it went totally away. And it hasn't hurt at all. I had both hips replaced last year, year and a half, and the recovery was effortless. And I was like, no, how long does this numbing last? And I called the doctor both times, and she said, you called us the first time. And I said, I have no pain. I had surgery 4 days ago. And she goes, the numbing wore off 3 hours after surgery. So I'm like, how could I not feel? Am I just not, am I numb? And she said, once in a while we get somebody that doesn't have, feelings from the cutting and the replacement and all that. And I said, twice.
Very good.
And I just look at my bottle and I go, dang, this stuff's good. So somebody asked me yesterday, how does it literally help with bones and joints? Like, why do I do it? And then I don't hurt with my knees. Now, I'm not the scientist, but I never took oil on a spoon every day.
Mm-hmm.
That alone, if you take a really high quality, and ours is extra virgin, cold pressed olive oil from Cyprus. So we don't buy from Costco like our competitors, shall we say. We buy from a farm in Cyprus and it's imported, and that's our olive oil. It is so good. And when you taste it, it's so strong. A lot of people are like, oh my God, this is peppery. It's like the real stuff. And what we don't realize is even when you go to a good Italian restaurant, they'll season your dressing and then let's say, would you like some cracked pepper? What they're saying is, we use cheap olive oil. Would you like us to put pepper on it? And then they do it and it tastes like our olive oil, which is the real deal. So I have learned a lot about olives, and I'll never buy those black ones in a can. But I am loving the glass jars with the green ones. We're learning so much now about food, and I want to stay on Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s team. 1,000 products out of Walmart. Imagine that. And the interviewer said, well, I grew up on Fruit Loops. It didn't harm me. And then he said, but in the 50s, they weren't poisoning people like they are now.
Mm-hmm. It's a very different time. Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that, I mean, like, oh, I used to eat all of this stuff when I was growing up. But the ingredients in a product at that time were natural. They were not genetically modified. It was, whole grains. Now everything has been manipulated through science and added chemicals and unnatural flavorings and unnatural colorings. It's a completely different set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, which I said in the very beginning of the show, that I learned from Penny Kelly, the one thing that she said that China does that we should do, not that there's many things, but she said they don't allow billionaires. They don't allow money to flow to the top and be stolen from all the people like we are in America with BlackRock, Amazon, with, the list. So they don't allow that, which is one thing I think we could take as a lesson, is to quit letting evil people, Bill Gates, make choices for us, the world. How did they get away with that other than communist control? 5 years of can't hug your grandparents that are dying in the hospital? What?
Yeah. Yeah. They, unfortunately, there is a preponderance of narcissistic psychopaths in positions of power. And those people help other narcissistic psychopaths rise to power, and then they pay them off and they siphon all of the wealth out of the general population. And people are more than happy to get that payoff so that they and their family can survive or thrive, I guess is a better word. And then it's a self-perpetuating cycle. So It seems like we are realigning those principles here in the United States. Another big part of it is that because you have so many corrupt people that have been in government, they have allowed certain corporations to thrive and then also take business from the United States of America, whether it's manufacturing or production, move it to a lesser country, a third world country, and then pay them significantly less to do it, and then ship much cheaper products back over to the United States, and then continue to ask us to pay more and more and more for them. And then at the same time, people's jobs opportunities go away. People's lives get to be more and more unmanageable. And people stop caring about, making a difference and about supporting themselves. And you've got a lot of people nowadays who have the mindset that because those things might have happened, it's the responsibility of the government to take care of us. And, unfortunately, many people have been put into a position where the only way they know how to survive, it may not be the only way to survive, but the only way they know how to survive is to leech off of everybody else. And so now that is being realigned, and we're bringing jobs and opportunity back here to the United States of America, and lowering prices and increasing production and manufacturing here so that we can thrive and we can have the type of lives that we were meant to have. And one thing that I've noticed also from the shutdown in the government, the biggest impact that I think that we're probably going to see is the removal of EBT and SNAP benefits, because so many of those people that I just mentioned, this is how they make a living. Not only do they have Section 8 paying for their rent, but they get so much in SNAP benefits, and then they sell that and they get cash for it. But you've also got people who really depend on it. You've got people who are, perhaps retired or otherwise disabled, and they're unable to do anything else to provide for themselves. And so those are the people that I truly feel for. But it's the first thing that I think has really hit home with people. By and large, the government being shut down has really, it's effectuated nothing. The important things are still happening. And otherwise, what we're seeing is that the Congress has been spending money like a drunken sailor for decades and decades upon decades. And that money has done nothing to keep the wheels of this country going this entire time. It's just another way that they can siphon wealth out of the pockets of Americans and then put it into the pockets of the people who are paying for their campaigns.
This is extreme, what we're watching. And when we see chubby boy Pritzker telling them to go shoot ICE.
Yeah.
And who'd they bring out of the grave? That Beetlejuice lady.
I don't know.
Do you remember her?
No.
Oh my God! Come on, Patty. I
About
just
Marina Abramovic.
No, that's good though. This was the lady that was the head. She was okay. I'm not even gonna.
Oh, Lori Lightfoot. Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you very much.
She does look like Beetlejuice.
Total Beetlejuice. Lori Lightfoot juice. Yeah, she's out there yelling, go shoot ICE, go track them. There's another guy on TikTok that said, "Hey, I'm taking these tracking devices and sticking them on, the ICE cars so we can, monitor them a lot." But anyway, Pam Bondi officially said through Tulsi also, Gabbard today, that she's going to hold those people accountable. Javin Newsom, Javin, I'm calling him today. The Javelin, what a gook. Between him and Pritzker and Beetlejuice,
Yep.
wow, like how can they get away with this? Why aren't they in jail already? Why is Bill Gates free? Where's Mayorkas? Oh, they're pulling Garland out now, Merrick Garland. So they're going to get Mayorkas too. Wouldn't it be nice if they actually lined them up and made them all accountable for this level of treasonous crimes that we've experienced? And I think that we underestimate the stress level of knowing all this. I was in the early group of whistleblowers before your era. I was blowing since 2007, and I got wounded in 2017 or 16. And then again in 2019, I got poisoned with uranium by some idiot, leaving it in my garage. And I've paid a price for being a whistleblower, but it doesn't make me weaker when they do these stupid, blatant things. It just shows me how weak they are that they would do this to an older woman.
Hmm.
Like, how desperate do you have to be to go around, well, they're saying it now, murdering people? This was 10 years ago. Well, this is today.
Hmm.
And today we have got to start making better decisions. And that's why I keep talking about this product. My brain's on fire. My mom's 96. Her brain's on fire. Everybody that we do shows with is really affectionate, affecting the public.
Hmm.
I couldn't find effectuating. Um,
Effectuating change. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like I work with the smartest people, but the difference that I see in you guys from when we began and 2 years on Evo, it's like, how many shows do you do a week?
Yeah.
Yikes, are there that many hours in the day? I do shows with an 83-year-old Alfred Lambermont Weber who's still putting out huge novels
Hmm.
about the multiverse. And his shows we do once a month. And we do it on the same platform that he created, I don't know, 50 years ago with Buckminster Fuller. That's how old he is
Wow.
and how many years he's been effectuating historic change. And all of a sudden, he's kind of stuttering on the last few shows. So I said to him a few hours before, take some Evo before the show and let me know. Take some Evo before the show and let me know if it's any different than you, for you. And he did, and I couldn't believe the difference. And I will admit that I feel so much better than at the top of the show. Before I did the Evo, I was definitely starting to feel the lull of, a long week after surgery. And now I'm like ready to hit some projects.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the product is so effortless, and I used to do all these supplements that I never feel, and they're expensive.
Hmm.
Each one is like chunk, 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 chunk,
Yeah.
and you lay out 6 each day or 8 each day, and that adds up every month. I haven't done them since I started on the Evo. And initially, some of your people will say, "Oh, it's so expensive, $100 for just me." It's like, is your health worth it?
Hmm.
Stop buying all those 30, 40, $50 bottles of things that don't work. Try Evo for a month and see the difference. Because this is something you take it and like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, come on, I cannot be feeling it that fast. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like generally by the midday, like right about when we started this, I'm starting to feel like I need a little extra boost. I wake up at 9 a.m. I immediately take it. I drink mine with my coffee first thing, and then just sets me off, and I get about my business. But about midday, I'm like, God, do I need some more caffeine? Do I need some more water? But I know I'm going to be on the show with you, and so we'll do another dose of Evo, and within about 10 minutes, I mean, I feel like it's not like a lot of people have asked me, like, what should I be feeling? And I'm like, well, every person is different, obviously, but I mean, for myself, I notice a sort of calm, centered nature to my thought process and the way that the way that I perceive the world. So, I definitely don't feel like I'm dragging. Don't have any problems coming up with content to speak about. Don't have any problems having conversations. So I mean, it's just like a finely tuned engine. That's the way I like to describe it.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
When people ask me about my recovery from hip surgeries, complete hip replacements, being so smooth and easy, I call myself an old Mercedes. And I say, when you put the good oil in,
Hmm.
you're going to have good results.
Yeah.
So, comparing Costco olive oil, which you can buy from the other companies online, or ours from Tunisia, that right there is enough distinction. But also industrial grade C60 from China compared to the evolution of the industrial industry to ESS 60, which is specifically made by our lab for people and pets. Now, we still make industrial grade, but we won't actually take anybody's money. We don't care if they're going to sell it to people because you're not going to buy the cheaper stuff and hurt the reputation of this industry.
Hmm.
So that's why Chris was so strict about me never saying C60. It's ESS 60. is what we sell.
Yeah.
C60 is for tires, ink, batteries, photocells. ESS60 is for people and pets. This is the giant bottle I will mention. I kind of like to brag, it's about the size of my head, but 32 ounces. I don't know anybody else that carries the bottle that big, but it'll last you quite a while. And most people end up with a 4 ounce or 8 ounce bottle, depending on if you want a teaspoon a day or a tablespoon. The coconut being half as strong, I just take twice as much. So for me, here's a month, here's a month. But everybody's different. And a lot of people travel and they say, they pulled the oil out of my carry-on, so I lost it. That's why we started making the capsules for people that travel, people that don't want to taste the oil. And these are only made with the strong olive oil. You can get 6 a day of this. I recommend before noon. My partner Chris can drink a cup of coffee and do a shot of Evo at bedtime and go right to sleep. I can't. Um, but we recommend it before noon. 6 is a teaspoon, 12 is a tablespoon. And I know a lot of people that are only taking two and they're like, what is this crack? So everybody's system is different. My dear friend Layla, she took one and she called me, she asked me, what is this crack? And I said, ha ha ha, how many did you eat? 10? She goes, one. I cleaned my entire garage. I haven't done that in 10 years. And I thought, well, good for you. But then she called me a couple days later and she said, I took two. I did my closet. What's in this stuff? So, really good for getting stuff done, really good for if you want to keep your brain centered. But in a world like this, with a plague that we are dealing with of dishonesty, we have to really increase our intuition and our discernment to have a great life moving forward. One more thing, a lot of people have dogs and cats.
Yes.
Needless to say, what's an average visit to the vet these days cost? 1,400, I'm
Um,
guessing.
yeah, I mean, if you just want, if we go in just to get their nails clipped, it's probably $90. If we have like, a series of tests, it's going to be in the hundreds easy. But if there's any like, machinery that's involved, if they got to get x-rays, if there's labs, you're over 1,000 very easily. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a sneaky way to get around all that.
Mm-hmm.
C60 EVO for dogs with bacon essence, C60 EVO for cats with salmon essence. And the pets love the taste. Again, it's the base of the organic olive oil, extra virgin from Tunisia. And we just blend it with those essences so that the pets definitely love the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, your dog that's been limping is bounding up the stairs again. So the testimonials, I think, that have been my favorite are the pet ones. We had two different influencers, Inspired Channel and John B. Wells, both had dogs that they thought they were going to have to put to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wait, let me send you some Evo for dogs. You make it for pets? It's like, yep, 2 weeks, 3 weeks for the other guy. Their dogs are still here 2 years later,
Oh, that's great.
doing great, going on walks. I know you had Smokey, your
Yeah.
beautiful cat of 18 years,
Yes.
that was an Evo cat,
Yeah.
handsome dude.
Yeah, she was
Um,
great. She was great, and both of the dogs still take it to this day. I've been giving Muffin the salmon one because I didn't want to waste it. I'm like, Chi-Chi doesn't like fish flavored stuff, but Muffin is a fatty. She'll eat anything at all, and so so Chi-Chi gets the bacon one, and then I'm almost at the end of the bottle that was Smokies. So. I just do one dropper full on each of their meals every day, and they absolutely love it. Yeah, no complaints.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was seeing this black feral cat in the neighborhood, and I bought a bag of kibble and I put a little Evo on it with salmon, and now he's frickin' hooked. He's here every morning and every night. A year later, lived through the winter under my house, I guess. Um, yeah, my daughter has cats that are 18 and 20. Like we live long. My mom, though, at 96, man, she blows my mind.
That's wild.
And she doesn't want to get low on Evo, and her skin looks even better than mine. And she does the advanced facial serum. And she was used to like the most expensive, facial stuff. And that was her thing, like women in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
Hmm.
their skin and, the products were really illustrious. And now it's like, if I can't pronounce the ingredients, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So our stuff is, it's fruit, nuts, seeds. This has a base of chia seed oil, which I don't think anybody else has done for a facial serum. And I think that's our key to success. And if anybody's listening wants to copy us, good luck with that. Got to have the C60 EVO. So I do encourage your audience to be very mindful not to buy products are from China
Hmm.
and Costco,
Yep.
and it's easy to tell because they are, shall we say, um, over spamming us.
Hmm.
So if you look us up C60 EVO, you're going to see a ton of spam. They're called sponsored ads or something,
Yep.
but they're trying to hide us. And interesting, the hacking and the being stuck off X and Truth. It's like, who's that desperate?
Yeah.
But there are people that unfortunately, I guess, are that desperate. But we're on shows 5 days a week. Like we go out to the world, we don't advertise any other way. And what people don't realize when they say, oh, if you pay for whatever, it's like, I don't do any interviews with people that haven't tried the product.
Yeah.
We'll cancel the interview if our new person hasn't received their box and done it for a few days because the difference is, hi, I'm authentically telling you the stuff
Right.
works. Or, yeah, I've heard,
Yeah.
no, people need to know from you who they love, who they come here to listen to, how it works for you. So I'm going to be quiet now and let you give us a final testimonial of what the product has done for you and your wife.
Well, probably the biggest thing besides the migraines was my knees. I have blown out both of my knees at multiple points during my life skiing, and I've taken, falls down the mountain. And obviously, if you hit the hard pack wrong and you bend your knee in the wrong direction, you're not getting back up and you're not going back down the hill. And there have been a couple of times where I had to get crutches to limp off into the chalet. It wasn't really a chalet. These are mountains in Michigan, so they're not exactly mountains. They're like
I
old.
like chalet.
Yeah,
No, that sounds good.
they're old trash dumps that they just put dirt on top of, but they're big. They're big enough to have some fun. Anyways, and so because of that, I had screwed up, one leg. And then a couple of years ago, I jumped a fence like a moron, thinking, that I'm like 25 still. And when I hit the ground, I didn't realize this, but it was completely waterlogged. And so my right leg hit first, planted about 6 inches down, and then my left leg went out in that direction. So my knee bent 90 degrees in the wrong direction. And I
Oh,
heard it pop. It was like when you crack a turkey leg off of the off the carcass at Thanksgiving. I still hear it in my head, and it's one of the most sickening things I've ever heard. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't have insurance. I probably should have had surgery, but there was no way for me to do that. So I ended up having my son go get a 12-foot extension ladder and shimmy it over the top of, because there was no way out. I had to climb a fence in and out. That was it. It was like a track. It was his track field. It was 4th of July. We were going to do all these fireworks. That did not happen. So he had to get the ladder over for me, and then I had to climb up one-legged and then get myself over one-legged and then pull the ladder back over and then use it to go down. And it was a whole production. And yeah, and for the next couple of days, I just had my leg immobilized, wrapped up. I was icing and heating, going back and forth. But for the next couple of years, it was not the same. It was weak. It would bend incorrectly if I wasn't watching it. And I couldn't work out anymore. I couldn't run. I couldn't do much of anything. And when I started taking C60, that's when I first started noticing that something was changing. And ESS 60, tell Chris I'm sorry. That's when I first started noticing that something was changing. And and it was after that I ended up getting this standing desk. About half the time that I'm in the office, I stand now. I couldn't stand before because it was just so painful. And now it's completely healed, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So,
That's awesome.
so it's been great for me. Lisa loves the products as well, and obviously the animals love the products. I attribute ESS 60 with giving us as much extra time as we got with Smokey, and miss her dearly. That's her portrait right back there, painted by one of my beautiful subscribers, Joan. And so if anybody out there wants to give it a shot, you guys, the link is in the description of the video. It's C60EVO.com/redpill78, and you'll get a 10% discount for being a viewer of the show. It'll be automatically applied if you go through that link. If you go to the website in any other way, if you use the code redpill78, you'll still get the discount, and it lets, obviously, Patty and the team know that you found out about it through my show, and you can share that with anybody else that you want. But you also have a whole bunch of other gift bags and packs and other bundles that you can get, which will give you an additional discount. And then you can still get my discount on top of that. And then you can even get a bigger discount if you order it on a subscription basis. And then you can still get my discount on top of the additional discount. And then if for whatever reason you decide that it's not something that you guys want to do, then Patty and her team are very accommodating. They'll go ahead and cancel it for you. No questions asked. They want you to be satisfied at the end of the day. Nobody wants you to use the products if you don't think that they're working for you or you don't think that they're quality. But you know, having used a number of products that are similar to these guys, more like imitators, if I can be honest, I can tell you that ESS 60 is the real deal. And that's why we continue to work together.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very
Yeah,
welcome.
it's 20% off if you sign up for a monthly subscription. It's 25% off for cases of 12 items. We sell a lot of cases because that's a great deal. And if you get a case and you get to checkout, use Zach's code at checkout for an additional 10% off, then you're cooking. We have the gift sets, which is 2 items or more. And if you get those, we do 10% off, no, 15% off the gift sets. So if you were to buy the starter set, which is our number one thing, it's the facial serum and the olive oil. We do 4 ounce or 8 ounce. It's 15% off. And if you really love it and you do 15% off these and you sign up for a monthly, that's another 20% off. Then you use Zach's code, that's another 10% off. It takes you 3 minutes to figure out all the discounts, but we want everybody to be able to afford it. Once in a while, people are like, don't you know that people don't have money? Yeah, that's why we're saving you so much not going to the vet, not going to the doctor. Like, it's an inside job, we've been saying today a lot, to take care of yourself. And when you can get something this easy that makes this much of a difference, it's a win for humanity. C60EVO.com/redpill78. And with me getting whacked twice and I'm 72, that my brain is still on fire, the product works. I mean, I'm really proud to be a co-owner with the lab because I've never experienced a product this good. And I've never given it to any friend that hasn't ordered 3 days later. 2, 3 days later, it's like, dang, she wasn't kidding. First one's free, you know, and if you love it, you can order it. And I almost feel like, you know, sneaky, here's a sample, because I know they're going to get hooked. Why would you not want to get hooked on feeling better and thinking clearly and sleeping deeper? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, and nothing at all. Absolutely nothing at all. All right. Well, Patty, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It's great seeing you again, and I look forward to seeing you again next month.
Thank you, my dear. Take care, everyone, and take good care of your health. Get your brain in gear so we can be the best versions of ourselves. And my shirt does say, what does it say?
This is the turning point.
That's right.
Amen. All right.
Amen.
We'll talk to you soon. Everybody in the audience, have a great night, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
All right.